I wanna send a message to a friend of mine back east, Florida, Brickell or Brickell, whatever you call the neighborhood. Very very fancy neighborhood. Okay, we had an argument about 2 years ago about what we got for a president. He was all for it. I said, "Are you an imbecile?" This guy's very intelligent. Okay, he's got degrees. He's made a lot of money. But sometimes I'm thinking, people with education are the most moronic people around. No common sense. So I want to ask him, how do you like it now? Huh? Gasoline is up to the sky. Food is expensive. A lot of people not working because they were getting a lot of socialist money, and they went to Vegas to gamble instead of buying food and things for their kids. And the government thinks that when you give somebody money, they're gonna do the right thing. No, they're not. They're gonna expend it on a bunch of habits that they have, either gambling or drugs or drinking or whatever. And they went to Vegas, was packed with people when they were giving out those checks. So I can't wait for the presidential election, and I can't wait for either DeSantis or Trump to, man, we can't take another administration like this guy. Now we got a tax. They just announced that they're going to raise taxes. He had a speech, very strong speech, saying we're not going to raise taxes. We're not going to raise taxes only on the people making over $400,000. Only the rich. Well, the rich know how to protect their money. They put it in bonds. They put it in all kinds of places. They take it out of the country and put it in banks they can't touch. They know what to do with their money. That's why they're rich. He's going to tax now the middle class, and he announced that it's going to be now from 70 to 200. That means that pretty soon it's going to go down to 40, because they just want to kill the middle class. So you're depending on them. So I wanted to tell my friend, we haven't spoken since we had that argument, but I know he watches my video. Say, how do you like it now, buddy? How do you like it now? And I want you to be honest with yourself. That you were voting for this idiot that we have running the country, letting the border wide open, having hundreds of thousands of people pouring in that we have to support now because they don't have jobs. Most of these people have no education. So we have to support thousands and thousands of people. More drugs are coming in, invading the freaking country. And now we're gonna get a higher tax. They just announced it. We're gonna get a higher tax from this idiot. So for the people, including my niece, very high degree in education, and it's like I want to put my head on and say I'm surrounded by idiots, because they are idiots. I know a guy here that he says, "Oh, I'm voting for green energy." And I said, "Green energy, huh?" What he meant to say, he was going to vote for this dumbass that we got. And I said, "Look at the green energy now. It's $6.48 a gallon. Oh, it'll go down." They go, "Yeah, but it shouldn't have gone up. It shouldn't have gone up, and it's gone down a little bit, but not the way it was before." When he took power, it was $2.39 over here. I don't know what it was in some other places. I know it was cheaper in Florida. It's always cheaper in Florida, but it was $2.39 or $2.49. It didn't get to $2.50 in California, and now you can't drive around. You can't. It's bullshit. What's going on? It's all crap. They're destroying this country, and they're giving all the jobs to China, and everything is China, and they think that they're saving the planet. No, the only thing they're doing is that it's destroying jobs. The planet is still going to be destroyed because the smoke, even though it's not produced here, but it's produced over there. And as you know, pollution goes around the world. So be honest to yourselves, okay, when you're going to vote. This is not about liking the president. It's never been a popularity contest. This is about the issues and the problems of the country, the policies. It's not about what he said and he said this and he said that. Who gives a shit what he says? It's what he does, what is important. A lot of people say a lot of pretty things and they don't do crap. They don't solve you any problems. They're a good talker, like Obama. Oh, do, 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 do. He promised the moon, and we're still waiting. Okay? So think about it. Be honest with yourself. Don't choose somebody because he's well spoken. That means he's a bullshitter. He is not a guy down to earth and he tells you like it is. I'd rather talk to a straight shooter that I've been accused of being a straight shooter, because I don't bullshit. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you the truth. I'd rather talk to a straight shooter than a bullshit artist, because he'll promise you all kinds of crap, knowing that you're gonna bite, and you're gonna take hook, line, and sinker, and you're getting screwed many times over. Okay? Oh, but he promised this and he promised that. Yeah, you still waiting? You still waiting? All they do is line their pockets. That's all they do. In the meantime, Trump came over with no political experience, but he had a lot of real life street savvy. Okay, he knew how to solve problems. He knew how to negotiate. He knew how to get things done, which he did. And these people didn't appreciate. Are you kidding me? You're gonna destroy a country because you were offended in some way? Did he talk about you personally? Or, you know, some people get offended by just thinking about things. It's not gonna change anything. It's not gonna solve anything if you have a well-spoken and well-mannered person, which doesn't resolve any issues. Their problems are getting bigger and bigger. Oh, but he's very presidential. He wears a nice tie. They were saying about Biden when he first got. Oh man, he's got some knockout tie. Who gives a shit about the ties? Look what he's saying. What did he say at the beginning? I'm going to shut down the oil industry. Hello? That should have been a warning right there. And the day he got in, not the second or the third, the day he got in, he killed it. And gas shot up like crazy. And then he's saying, oh, the oil companies are greedy. They're raising up their prices. Well, you know why? Because if you knew anything about the real world, when you have abundance of one item, prices go down. When that item is reduced, prices go up. The inventory is less and less and less. You think they're going to reduce the prices to sell what they got? They're going to sell it for less? They're going to raise the prices because now you killed the flow. There's nothing coming in down the pipe. The refineries are refining less. They bring in the oil from far away, which costs money, transportation, insurance, shipping, crews, repairs. Everything is included in that price rather than pumping it out over here. So what do you think is going to happen with the oil prices? It's normal economics. But these idiots don't have 2 cents worth of brain in their heads to come up with anything. It's all magic. Oh, the electric car. Oh, every car is going to be electric. Really? How do you charge those cars? Tell me. You think you're going to do it solar? And look, it's being overcast for days and days and days, and there's no wind. If you have an electric cars, what are you doing about it? What are you getting? You getting a full charge? A quarter? No. You're using your own power from the house because you got nothing in solar, and you're using oil and coal and gas. Don't be lying to yourself. Don't be thinking, oh no, it'll get better. No, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. You know why? Because the materials to make a battery, first of all, they got to destroy virgin land to find those materials. They're very rare. Then the batteries are reduced in capacity. They're making them smaller because there's less of that material. Price is going to go up. Same thing with the oil. And then when the car is done after 8 years, that battery cannot be recycled, refixed, nothing. They're going to have to dump it in the trash. The same thing with solar panels. It costs, I think I saw a documentary that it was $1.50 per foot of solar panel to construct, aluminum, glass, wiring, but to recycle it, it costs $30 a foot. You think a company is going to spend more money to take it down, dismantle it, recycle it, more money than what it costs to build new? Those panels are going to end up in the junkyard. They're going to end up in the landfills. Don't lie to yourself. Do the research. There's not only me talking about it, a lot of people with a lot more knowledge than me, but it's common sense. I've been saying this for 20 years. And I've been telling people, say, this car pollutes more than a gasoline car. Well, how can that be? They go, dude, what do you think you're getting the charging for your battery? It's oil, you know? And then to produce the materials and to mine and everything else, you're using oil. You're using oil for those big trucks. You're using oil for those big cranes to scoop up the dirt and get the raw materials. You're producing smoke when they're burning and producing glass. You're producing more smoke when you're making those wires, the copper wiring, and they're producing everything, melting down the aluminum. What do you think that's how it's made? It's not made with solar. Don't kid yourself. Think. Use your God-given brain if you think that the electric car is a savior of the world. It's going to ruin the world. Besides, there's not enough battery material to produce cars for everybody in the world. Let's start with that. There's not enough of it. Okay? It's like saying, we're going to use gold for something, right? For certain stuff. There's only a certain amount of gold in the world. You can make it. You can make gold. You can't do, like the old chemists. What do they call it? Alchemy, I think it was. They wanted to make gold out of lead. Well, yeah, if you could do that, everybody would be making it, right? So there's only a certain amount of gold in the world. I think it's, what did I hear one time? It's 30 yards by 30 yards by 30, something like that. It's a small amount, not enough to do much with it. It's good for electronics and spaceships and stuff. Very, very fine lines, very, very fine wiring. And then they have the wrap. They make it into this like real like foil paper. Foil, and they wrap the spaceship because it ricochets the radiation. It's very good for that, but there's not enough of it to do much with it. And banks have them in their vaults, but they don't do nothing. It's just a backup to a non-existing economic foundation because the dollar is not backed with gold anymore. So there's not enough of that. So it's not enough material for batteries. Put that in your head. They're going to destroy the rainforest looking for the stuff. They're going to go into swamp areas. They're going to destroy it. If they find it, they're going to go after it because now the market is hot. Electric car. You know what car I will buy? I'm waiting for the hydrogen car because we got plenty of water in the ocean. But that's not going to happen still because they're milking it. They're milking this industry now until they ran out. Then they're going to move to the next. It's like the same thing the automotive companies do with cars and trucks. You have a certain year, and they have a mold for those 10 years. And then 1 year comes with power windows. And then now everything comes with power windows. But before it was, this year is going to come with power windows. And then the next year is going to come with air conditioning. And then the next year is going to have with this and that. And they kept adding. It's the same vehicle. But they kept adding a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And they're milking that model until the end of the decade. They come up with a different model. Same brand, Chevy, Ford, or Dodge, whatever. They change the grill shape. They change the cheeks on the vehicle. They change the shape a little bit. And they make basically the same chassis, same freaking vehicle with a different look. And then it's another 10 years, another 10 years. And then after that 10 years, boom, they'll change it again. So this is what they're doing with the electric cars. They're changing this and they're adding that and now it can drive itself. I will never buy a car that drives itself. Never, ever. If you're too lazy to drive, don't drive. Get an Uber. And then, oh, by the way, Uber belongs to Soros. Thank you very much. So when you're using an Uber, you're feeding this corrupt communist piece of shit guy. Okay? But anyways, the car I'm waiting for is the hydrogen. It's water. It's water-based. It produces, gets the hydrogen out of the water, and the only thing coming out of the pipe is going to be vapor. The hybrid, go with a hybrid. Hybrid charges your battery. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to wait until it's charged. If you have a low battery on the car, you can still drive with the gas. A little engine doesn't really spend that much gas, and then it charges your battery, and then you can keep going with the battery. The problem is that I went to see one of those. I went to see the Toyota SUV. I forget the model, and they were telling me that the battery only gives you 2 miles per charge. And I said, "What do you mean 2 miles? You mean 22 miles?" Because no, 2 miles. I said, well, how can that be? Because, he tried to explain it, but he didn't really give me a satisfactory answer. What it is that being that the batteries are so expensive, the battery is small. That's why you only get 2 miles. Now, if you buy those Tesla cars, the battery is huge. The whole floor is a battery. Why? Because it's a battery car. It doesn't have the engine. So that's why they're trying to balance it out. So the thing to do is, if you're buying a new vehicle, buy a hybrid that has a bigger battery that can give you a better range on the, let's say it gives you 30 miles and you drive 20 miles to your job or 30 miles to your job, and that will get you practically make the whole run on battery power. And then if it needs a little bit of charge, the engine will kick in. You can still drive with the engine, and you're charging your system. You're not using the electricity power from your house, because those plants, if you look at the videos, those huge pipes, they're just spewing all kinds of smoke. Your car is not doing that. Cars got computers, catalytic converters, filters, all kinds of things that reduces the emissions down to almost nothing. So you got the perfect vehicle, a car that is not polluting the environment. A lot of people are into the environment. And a car that gives you very, very good mileage. Those little cars, that little engine give you 30, 40 miles per gallon. And then you get another battery that gives you another 30 or 40, and then you're back and forth. That's the perfect. That's what I would do until the hydrogen car comes out. When the hydrogen car comes out, it's not going to be that you're going to get a hose and fill up your tank from home, a water hose, because the system in the vehicle is not going to be operating to do the cracking of the water with electrodes to separate the hydrogen from the liquid. So what you're going to have to do is go to a pump where they're going to supply you with the hydrogen, and you're going to pump it like it's regular gasoline, but it's going to be hydrogen. And if that comes out, then yeah, it's going to be expensive at the beginning, like everything is. Once it saturates the market, it'll bring it down. Supply and demand. But if there's only a few cars sold and a lot of people are not going to go for it, it's going to be very expensive, because the less of one item, the more money it's going to cost. Same thing with the gasoline. You're not refining gas. You're not pumping gas from here. Crude oil from here. You're bringing it from out of state and stuff. Of course, it's going to cost you more money. It's not because the gas company, the oil companies want to get richer. Yeah, they have reported, when they did the last quarter, they reported a lot of money. But the thing is, are they reporting their losses, their expenditures? You think it's all profit? It's not profit. If you ever had a business, you know that if you can get 15%, you're ahead of the curve. You're making money. Nobody makes 100, not even 50%. No way. There's so much involved in production, and location, and insurance, and employees, and the benefits for the employees, and everything else. I mean, I've had a couple of businesses, let me tell you, and I've had small businesses. It's nothing compared to the big guys. Okay? It's not all profit. So there's a few refineries down in San Pedro, and I see those things running, and they're burning. They have those tall towers burning the what do they call that? They burning the waste, like the crap out of it, and they're refining it, up and down that tower. And those things are almost run. They're always running because they're refining, getting fresh gasoline into your car. Those reserves that they have, they're no older than 9 months. They don't have fuel sitting there for. It'll go bad. It'll get watery. It'll start picking up a lot of moisture and stuff. The fuel that you're putting in your car, it's new. It hasn't been sitting there. You've seen these refueling trucks come in, and they come in maybe every 3 weeks, and they fill up those tanks underground for the gas stations. It's new fuel. You're not, you can save some gas in a vehicle, like I have, but you have to put additives because the fuel will start going bad. It won't get ruined. I'm not saying that, but it won't be. If you have a very finicky car, you have a very high end, like an Audi Sport or whatever. You're not going to put watered down gas or bad gas. You're going to put the best gas you can find. 90, 94 octane. The planes, the planes that I used to fly with my friends, it's 100 and I think they call it blue fuel. It's 105 because those engines have to have pure fuel. You can't afford putting cheap gas up there in the air. You're going to go, and the engine is coughing on you. We're going to drop. No. So the fuel industry has to renewing fuel to all these facilities around the world. Don't try to kill the lifeblood of the planet because solar and wind, it's not it. It's not it. It's like saying if you're really sick in the hospital and they're going to deny you the penicillin shot, but they're going to give you an aspirin. Oh, that'll fix it. It might help a little bit, but it's not going to cure you. Not like penicillin. Well, the same thing it is with the fuel. If you kill the oil industry, or not kill it because it's not going to die, but it'll cripple it like it basically now. Try to survive on solar and wind. It's an aspirin. It might help you a little bit. It's not going to cure you. Every time I got a friend that he goes to Vegas, every 2 months or so, he says, Ray, I stop at a gas station, I'm gassing up, I'm out of there in 5 minutes, in less than 5 minutes, and there's a row of people. It's like 14 cars in a row with the electric charging, and they're sitting there looking at their phones, and they got set there for 45 minutes. In the meantime, he already got to Vegas. He's sitting in a nice hotel. He's sitting by the pool having a drink. He's gambling, whatever he's doing. He's out in front of me. In the meantime, the idiots are sitting over there waiting for the car to charge. And with that, it's from point A to point B. You can't say, oh, I want to drive into the desert. I want to look at this stone. I want to look at that hieroglyphics. No, because there's no charging stations anywhere. You got to go only from point A to point B, and hopefully there's a spot to charge at point B. Because some of those little towns, you go up and down 395. Good luck. You might as well get a solar panel and attach it to the roof of your car and plug it in. Maybe you get a little charge. Maybe. So that's what it is. This guy, this bonehead, shut down the industry because he wants to push people to buy electric cars. He said it. I saw a program. I think he went with Jay Leno on a car. They were driving around, and he was saying that he was pushing for 40%. That's what he wants, because somebody put it in his head. Some liberal idiot. They don't think, oh no, 40%, and that'll reduce the emissions. It's not going to reduce crap. It might. You know what? If you do the numbers compared to the rest, because remember, we're not the only ones on the planet. If you do the numbers, They said, I think I heard that it was one half of 1%, maybe, if you have 40%, not 40,000, 40% of the population driving electric cars. If that's the case, I'm going to start buying candles and logs because we're not going to have any heating. We're not going to have any lights because the grid, and I've said it before, the grid cannot take the load from so many cars charging basically at the same time, which is around this time when people get home. They get off and they plug it in. It's like a second habit now. You come in, plug it in right away, leave it there overnight, and everybody's going to do that because they want a full charge when they go to work the next day. I mean, logical. But the grid is going to overheat. It's going to burn. They need to start replacing wires, and that's going to be billions and billions. And we don't have the money. These people, all they do is print. Every time you print, you're causing inflation. And they don't care. They keep printing. Can you imagine if you need money and you don't have nothing in the bank and you say, I want to buy a new sofa. Okay, go in the basement and print out a couple of $1,000. That'll be nice. If we can do that, huh? That'll be nice. I need money. And chickity. And you get a pack of dollars and then you go buy whatever you want. Well, that's what these people are doing. I mean, it's zero economics. It's reactionary. The reasons that he's raising taxes is because of Ukraine. Because it looks, it's going to be a year now in February, when the whole thing started, or was it January, that they're saying, they're looking and saying, well, this is taking a little long, and we're giving him millions and millions and billions of dollars, and Russia's still there, and then, and Ukraine's still there. They're pushing back, and, this is like a seesaw going back and forth. And when is it going to end? Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows when it's going to end. It's going to end with us going broke because I don't hear of any other country doing, Germany or France or England sending. They probably are, but not the amount we're sending. But I do know that when you print money and you flood the country with money, that you're going to create inflation. I mean, the Germans tried that with England. They printed a bunch of false notes, the pound sterling is what it is. And they wanted to flood the market, and I think they sent some money somehow to reduce the power of the economy, the English economy. And that's a trick that they were trying to do. And then at the end of the war, they went and dumped cases and cases of fake money into the lake that it was found years later. And they also dumped a bunch of gold and nobody knows where it's at. But that's how you destroy an economy, by printing money, and we're doing it to ourselves because we got these morons in charge. I say that to be in a position of power, to be in a position to govern, you have to have a background, business education at least. If you don't have a background in banking, in business, to know how a business runs is the same way a country runs, supposed to run like a business, to be profitable. If you're gonna run it as a crazy charity, and spend, we're in deep shit. And none of these people have a degree in anything. They're good talkers. That's why they get voted in, because Obama and the what is it, Clinton having a beer with the Russian president and chuckling, and then Obama sat down with the what's his name? He's got a difficult name, the Iranian prime minister. And the Iranian prime minister is thinking like, the guy's an idiot. I'm going to have a beer and I'm going to tell him to fuck off. They're still doing their shit. They don't know how to handle people like that. Trump does. Look what he did to the Korean guy. No more rockets. I don't know what he told him. I don't know if he threatened him or say, hey, I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to buy you a yacht, or I'm going to bring groceries. I don't know what he said, but he stopped launching rockets. He was launching a rocket every, what, 2 weeks or something? He stopped doing that. What happened with the Iranian general that he was sending terrorists and funding and sending, rockets and shit? He hadn't blown up. You need balls to do that. You're not there because you're a good talker, or you're a nice diplomatic and none of that. No, you're there to take care of business, and you have to have the gunuts to do it, cojones, to do it. Don't be going, I mean, look what happened with Carter. If you're too young to remember, or you weren't born, what did Carter do when the Iranians took over the embassy, the American embassy, as a protest? He didn't send the Marines or anything. He turned off the Christmas lights on the tree, the White House Christmas tree. He turned off the lights. I saw that on TV, and I'm going, are you kidding me? This is what he's going to do? You know? And then finally, after a lot of people protesting and criticizing him, he sent a couple of helicopters, rescue helicopters that didn't have the training. They had the wrong helicopter. They didn't have no filters for the sand. The sand over there is very greedy. It gets everywhere. And they both crashed, and most of them got killed. It's an embarrassment. Why? Because guy's a farmer. He's a peanut farmer. What does he know about anything? It's just when OPEC went on strike and we're pushing cars, because I did that. I pushing cars to the gas station to get 5 gallons maximum quantity. What did Carter say? Oh, bring the heater down to 60. What is it? 64 or 66, and wear a sweater. So, as an example, he was wearing a sweater in the White House, and that's the solution. Instead of saying, "Hey, let's go talk to these Arab guys," and say, "Hey, get your shit together and let's get this thing rolling again," because they were trying to squeeze him. Because every time you have a weak person in power, the evil ones take advantage of your gutless soul. Okay? They asked Putin, what did he think about Trump? And he said, "Oh no, he's very nice. He's a good president. He's and he kind of slipped out, and he said, and he's unpredictable." Those are the guys they don't want to mess with because they don't know what he's going to do. He's unpredictable. And that's the kind of guy you need in power to put everybody in their place. They asked him about Biden. Oh yeah, he's been in government for years, and he knows, he knows the government, and he's what did he say? He says something kind of like in double sense, like he's easy to read, like he's predictable, and that's why they attacked Ukraine, because they knew that the United States wasn't going to do crap about it. All they're doing is sending ammo, but they don't want to send military because, it's an insult. It's like we're going to attack Russia. They go, no, you're going to defend Ukraine if you really mean it. So the Ukrainians are doing a pretty good job of defending themselves, but if they had some help, it would be a lot quicker and a lot less costly than it's costing us now, because all the money we're sending over there. So every time you vote for a president, look at his background. Look what he's done, not what he says. It's just promises, promises, promises. And they don't do anything. They just promise, and they keep you hanging and hanging. They keep you hanging. But they won't accomplish anything. They look at the black people that have been voting for Democrats for 40, 50 years. Where are they? In the same hole they were before. When Trump took power and he started, fixing the economy and the jobs and the better pay, a lot of blacks were doing very well. They were saying it. He says, man, I don't know what he did, but I got a solid job. I got very good income. I'm paying my bills. Yeah, a Democrat take over, you're back in the poorhouse, in welfare. Ain't nowhere to go. I mean, come on, people. Open your eyes. It's not about what he says and how he says it. It's what he's done. Look at the past. Look at the record. Look at the success. You know. And some people, I'm against millionaire. Well, if you're against making money, you're in the wrong country. If you don't make money, you're going to be poor. And if that's what you like, well, then you can move to a poor country and then you have no excuse. But over here, where there's a lot of opportunities, I mean, people come over from all over the countries in South America, and within a few years, they got their own little business, a little taco shop or a little embroidery, or I knew a lady from Costa Rica. I don't know if she's still alive, but you know what she would do? And this is her business. She would make all the embroidery for she would do like the satin hearts and the lace and the garter belts. I think it was for Victoria's Secrets, I think it was. And that was her business. She was making money. She was making a living. She had her own house, and they had a couple of nice cars. They weren't filthy rich or anything, but they were business people. How come you were born in this country, you speak the language, you got all the rights, and you still living as a pauper? I'm not saying that you're supposed to be rich, but you should be living better than when you are now if you're with the Democrats, because they're screwing you. Understand that. They're screwing you. And you don't have nothing because they do. They're lining their pockets and you get diddly squat. So the idea that a person that speaks well is going to take care of you, it's gonna help you get anywhere. You're dreaming. You are dreaming. I mean, look, don't take my word. Look at the examples around the world. That's why I say you got to look at the past, look at the record. Look at Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong, people will cry because, the land is for the people and he promised, everybody that they were going to be a lot better position and they were going to have their own land and bullshit. They're all slaves. And I think he got rid of all the intellectuals and the teachers. And why? Because he didn't want anybody above him. He didn't want anybody thinking more intelligently than he, and he didn't want anybody talking bad about him. He kept the idiots. You control the idiots, it's easy to control. All you do is promise shit. Okay? Look at Hitler. Man, people will go nuts when Hitler talked because he was very passionate and, in Rushland, promising the German that they were the best race in the world and they were Aryans and and doing all kinds of weird parades and thinking that they were original people from back, thousands of years. He lied to everybody, and look what happened to the country. Look what happened to the Germans. Okay. Look at my best example from experience. Look at Fidel. If Fidel took power, he promised everybody the moon. Just like Obama did, and just like everybody, all these people. They promise everything, and then they get their own little group of criminals that they're involved in crime, and then nobody's going to put the finger at nobody because you're going to go to jail too if you point the finger. And he screwed the country. That's why a lot of people left if they could. Going in a boat, and they're being shot at and being sunk, being killed in the middle of the ocean. People don't even know how many. And why? Because he was a smooth talker. He would go on there on the podium and speak for 5, 6 hours and talk about crap. And all these idiots, morons, low IQ, because the people with the IQ left, knew what's coming. They rented boats and they rented, however they can get out, and they left. And who was left? The morons that swallow the bullshit. Smooth talker. Every time you get a smooth talker, that's what you get. I mean, look at the history. And there's more examples. They care about themselves. Now they're protected for life. The Secret Service, now they have protection for life because they were presidents, which they didn't do anything for anybody. And you keep voting for that kind of person? They need to have a background on something that you can use more than your mouth. Show me what you've done with your brain. Show me what you've done. Show me any good laws. Show me anything that you've produced. Any deals that you've done with any country that's beneficial to this country. Show me stuff like that to say, you know what? That guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. Because he knows how to deal and wheel and deal. But people are, especially women. Women don't think, they feel. You talk to a conversation, you hear a conversation of women. How do you feel about this? You say, well, I feel fine. I don't have a headache or a body ache, but let me tell you what I think. Not about what you feel, but they don't think. They feel. Everything is emotional. Every time I talk to a woman, it's the same thing. It's all emotional crap that has nothing to do with the facts. It's because, oh, I don't like the way he said this, and I don't like the. Well, is that going to change anything in your life? No. But the price of gas is, because he insulted somebody. Is that going to insult you personally? No. No. But is he keeping the country safe? That's an important thing. Is he putting in jail people that are corrupt? No. Because they're corrupt. And they help each other. You don't tell on me, I won't tell on you. That's why they are where they are. So you can't make a decision on emotions. If you do, you're screwed. You're screwed. You just don't want to admit it. A lot of people just stay quiet. Who do you vote for? They don't want to admit it. They don't want to say, I fucked up. They don't want to say it. They don't want to admit it that they made a big wrong mistake. If you have a guy that he is in power and he's making a bunch of mistakes, are you going to vote for the guy again? If you are, you're an idiot. There's a Middle Eastern guy with a British accent. He speaks very well. And I had that video and I put it on my channel that he says that if you look at the facts, that Trump didn't go to war, even though they were pushing, because in war there's money. There's a lot of money to be made in war. All these weapons they're sending over there, they're not free. They have to get paid. So he says, if you're against them, you're an idiot. But he said, let's look at the facts. They invaded Iraq without proof of weapons of mass destruction because of money. War makes money. They are selling slaves. He didn't say they were black or white or brown or anything, but they're selling slaves today, not 200 years ago. But today they have a slave market, which is perfectly legal. Do you protest about that? No. Do you protest about the gays being hung in Iraq from a crane? No. And they also throw them out 10-story balconies. Just throw them out. and they kill him. Do they protest about the genocide that happened in Yemen? I think it was Yemen. The Arabians gave money to a bunch of militants, and they went in there and they slaughtered 200,000 people. And he said, "Do you protest about that?" No. You protest about the corruption in your government? No. So, I mean, he's a foreigner and he sees it. Because why? Because he's paying attention. He doesn't bury it under the carpet. He doesn't ignore it. He pays attention and he knows the truth. And the people here, they don't want to hear. They don't want to talk about it. Oh no, well that happened over there and I don't know, I'm not sure, because they don't want to know. They just want to keep saying the same crap and voting for the same type of people. But I like the way he speaks. He sounds so sincere. I'm paying 3 times for groceries. My sister went shopping the other day. I don't know what the hell she bought, but she says they got like 2 or 3 bags of groceries. It cost them $400. I say, what the hell did you buy? But the thing is that no matter where you go, it's expensive. Are you ignoring that too? Are you lying to yourself? Are you thinking, oh, it's going to get better? It just is not his fault. It's not his fault. He's a poor old guy that he's reading the teleprompter and he just says what he's being told to say, because sometimes they ask him something, he goes, oh, I'm not allowed to say that. I'm going, what? What do you mean you're not allowed? It's supposed to be the president. You can say what the hell you want. Not allowed. Because he's being controlled like a puppet. You voted for the guy. Now there's the consequences of your stupid actions. Why? Because you don't think. You feel. That is not the way of running this country. And if you look back, let's say 40 years, the worst time that this country has had has been under the Democratic administration. When Nixon was in power, we had a chrome shop next to us in our shop, owned by a black guy, and he was raving. He said, "Oh, Nixon, we got jobs, we got a lot of work," and he was happy with Nixon. Now Nixon might have done something crooked, but that's all they all do. And the economy was doing good. He was negotiating with China, which I think was a big mistake. Look what we got now. But anyways, the economy was good, and that's the important thing. Gas was cheaper, a lot cheaper. Then when, let's say, well, look what happened with Carter. Everything got upside down. Everything was expensive, and the mortgages and everything. But anyways, then here comes Reagan. Reagan immediately cut down the taxes, like Trump did. The economy took off. Everybody was making money. I knew people that say, man, we're so busy. We got so much work. They weren't saying that before. Everybody was making good money. And I was looking at some of the videos, and he says, the most dangerous word you can ever hear from the government is, I'm here to help. I laugh because he's got a sense of humor. And it's true. If the government's going to help you, no. Look what happened to the people that they've been helping for 40, 50 years. They're still on the bottom of the bucket. So Reagan was a character, man. He got things done. The economy was doing good. I think they built a new ship under him. I think it was an aircraft carrier. The communists were taking a little island of Grenada. He sent the military over there. I think he wasn't a coward. He had balls. He said, "Yeah, but send the infantry, or the parachute. I think it was the 82nd Airborne or something. Send them over there and kick ass, and take some names." They didn't give a shit about the communists. They were all Cuban too, Russian backed. And that's what you need, man. You need a president with balls. When he took office, Iran that had for 444 days, I don't forget that number, 444 days, they had the embassy people in jail, treat them like shit. And the day, for all the time that Carter was in power, they just wiped their butt with him. The very day that they let him go. Why? Because they had a little secret meeting, a backdoor meeting with a American representative. I don't know if it's an embassy or, and they said, "What do you think Rey's going to do?" He says, "He's going to bomb you back to the 9th century." And he'll do it too. He did it to Gaddafi when he blew up that plane over Scotland. He was responsible for that shit. So Reagan didn't fuck around. And when you have a president like that in power, the other countries, the ones that want to screw with you, they back off. They let this guy at peace and don't, Fidel didn't say a peep for 8 years. Never said anything bad about Reagan. Nothing. Because he was afraid he was going to get invaded. So what happened in Grenada? He said, this guy ain't fucking around. And that's what happens. You have a weak person in power, Ukraine. And who knows what else is going to happen there. This is not done. Okay? Just because he's sending weapons, he needs to do a little bit more. Get an American fleet into that sea there. What is it? The Black Sea. And let them run around. And the Russians are going to say, ooh, wait a minute. Let me park it. I'm going to put it over here on the side, on the Russian side. You need to show power against power, not turn your face and turn the other cheek. Not with that kind of people. They respect power. They don't give a crap about diplomacy. Are you serious? And those are the dreamers. Those are the people with the feelings. Oh no, if we talk to them and we sit down and No, that's not with those kind of people. It's been going on for a year now, almost a year. They should have said, hey, besides cutting the whatever they were giving him, I forget now, before cutting you off, we're going to send our military over there in the Navy. We're going to be buzzing around the border and put you back in your bottle. And that's what you got to do. You got to put the genie back in the bottle. Otherwise, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. So, okay, guys, enough of that. I know I had to put some of that in because I haven't been talking about it for a long time. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.